Over the next couple of weeks, the landscape of the middleweight division is going to look dramatically different. Renier de Ridder just established himself as a contender. Next week, the belt is on the line when Dricus du Plessis defends against Khamzat Chimaev. And in this fight, we have Anthony Hernandez defending his 7-fight win streak against perennial contender Roman Dolidze. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to give you my bets for UFC Vegas 109. Before we look at this event, let's look at the last event. I'm on quite the little streak. UFC Vegas 108 was very good to us. And if the only thing you do is watch this free video every week, then you've absolutely been feasting. I have been crushing it lately in the chaos that has been MMA recently. Last week, I had 1.52 units of net profit with a 27% ROI. But it wasn't just last week where I had some success. Over the last 5 events, I have put together a 19% return on your investment, 4.26 units of net profit. The streak is magnificent. The chaos is very real, and I'm somehow bobbing, weaving, and avoiding the mess that has been some of these fight cards. The success is very real. It is a tightrope, and I'm looking to extend into UFC Vegas 109, but I'm not the only one. It's not just my picks and bets that are doing well. The artificial intelligence has also, on our website, wewantpicks.com, we have an artificial intelligence. It's picking fights based solely off of data. Every week we load it with new data, so it learns, it adjusts, and it gives us picks for the next event. Last week, it went 11-1, 92% pick accuracy. It only missed the Matthaus-Rebecki fight, which I also missed. And the reality is, it's an artificial intelligence, and it's not going to be right all the time, always. It's just looking at data, and data can't account for everything in a fist fight, but it is accounting for a lot of things, and it is doing quite well. You can check out all of my bets, all of my picks. You can check out the artificial intelligence. We have tools as well, like the line movement tracker, which will give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. You can check out the Prop Hunter, curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. And you can get all of that and a bunch of other things for only $10. $10. Do you realize how little $10 is nowadays? What can you get for $10? You can't get a tin of Zins for $10. You can't go to McDonald's and get a full meal for $10. You can't do shit for $10 nowadays. But premium membership with all the picks, all the bets, all the tools is $10 for an entire month. And here's the 4 cards you're going to get if you sign up right now. You're going to get UFC Vegas 109, UFC 319 next weekend, UFC Shanghai after that, and then UFC Paris. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It's freaking $10. It is quite literally the greatest value in this space. Well, we have Eurotrash price gouging at $100 a month. You get the boys. You get the tools. You get the artificial intelligence. You get quite literally the most robust, most value-add package on planet Earth, $10. No upsell, no cross-sell, no bullshit. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Let's go ahead and talk about this card specifically. Last week was a pretty favorite-heavy card. The week before that, we had 8 underdogs of 12 fights. So we don't quite know what we're going to get. There has been no consistency whatsoever across the board this year. Last year, pretty favorite-heavy year, a couple of upsets here and there. This year seems far more upsets than favorites, but this card to me feels somewhat favorite heavy. There are a lot of fights that are much closer than they seem with the odds, but let's go ahead and run through some of my most confident favorites and some solid underdogs on the card. You're going to notice some of these odds are atrocious. That's just the reality of MMA in 2025, and that is because as more states legalize sports betting, there is more exposure to the sports books, and MMA is such a volatile sport. It's not football where you have an entire team and everybody has to mess it up. It's not basketball where, again, there's an entire team and everybody has to mess it up. It's one person versus one person. A single punch can change the entire dynamic. And now that sports betting is legal in more and more states, and everybody loves to do their $5 39 leg parlay to make $100,000, that means all of these fighters are in tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of different individual bets. And the sports books need to cover their asses, and they do so by making these lines outrageous. So yeah, we've got some crazy lines here, but that's the reality of where we are. Elijah Smith, minus 720. That line is actually not wide enough. He beats the shit out of Toshiomi Kazama. It's not even remotely close. That's not a close fight. He's a better wrestler, a better striker, a better grappler. I don't know how that isn't a minus 1,200 line, but it isn't. So Elijah Smith, if you want to save a couple of bucks, you can head over to Bet Openly. They're not a sports book. They are not a sportsbook. It's peer-to-peer, human to human. There's not a house taking your money. It's just a website that facilitates a bet between me and you, or you and somebody else. The loser gets the money. The loser loses the money. The winner gets the money. They take 1%. And because they only take 1% and they don't care who wins or loses, you're going to get better odds across the board. Jocelyn Edwards, minus 350. The fact that Jocelyn Edwards is a confident favorite at minus 350 tells you everything you need to know. She should win. She's quite literally the better fighter in every aspect of MMA. The only concern is that Priscilla Caceres is an animal. She might move forward, get in Jocelyn's face, grind, get weird, make it ugly, not let Jocelyn hit a flow state. But for the most part, Jocelyn's a better fighter everywhere. I think she gets it done. Cody Brundage, a late addition to this card. Here's the fact that Jocelyn Edwards and Cody Brundage are two of the most confident favorites on the card also tells you everything you need to know. I understand people's disdain for Cody Brundage. He's got a lot of weird outcomes. The Jacob Malkoun fight, his last fight against Mansour Abdul Malik. A couple of fights ago, I forget who the hell that was, another headbutt. I understand it. But the reality is, in this matchup, Cody Brundage is an actual UFC fighter who has real wins at that level. And his opponent, Eric McConico, is a 35-year-old regional guy that got the call up on short notice, so now he's got a contract. I think Cody Brundage runs through him. These odds open with Cody as a plus 200 dog, and now he's very clearly the minus 170 favorite, and this line makes a lot more sense. Steve Erceg, minus 600. He was already on this card. And then he lost his opponent. He has a new one in Ode Osborne. I do think Steve Erceg wins this fight, but I also think he needs to wrestle. This guy's on a 3-fight skid, and he's not stupid. So I think he recognizes, I need to win this fight or I'm probably gone. He is a national champion wrestler. Now, is Australian wrestling great? No, by no means. But he's still a best wrestler on that continent in his weight class, and Ode Osborne's wrestling is not good at all. So I think Steve Erceg will actually come in here. I think he will sneak in a couple of takedowns. I don't expect an exciting fight, but I do expect Steve Erceg to get it done. Unfortunately, these odds are a bit wide, but he was already on the card. He is a good fighter. He's got some solid fight IQ, and he's fighting a guy on short notice with no takedown defense. If we look at some underdogs, I can make the case for almost every fighter on this card. Angela Hill, plus 155. The reality is, Angela Hill's a good underdog in every fight that she's in. She's got the veteran savvy. She always has incredible cardio. She's got decent striking. She is a very good fighter. She just beat a young prospect in her last fight, and she did so with the high fight IQ and by staying mobile. She's fighting Eisman Lucindo, who's going to look to close the distance and get it to the ground. And I do think Eisman probably wins this fight, but underdog-wise, Angela Hill with the legs, the reach, the length, the ability to stay mobile, the fight IQ could absolutely squeak this out. Andre Feely. I understand Andre today is not who he was a while ago. I fully get that. He's not that same prospect. His chin isn't outstanding. He's had a couple of weirdo performances, but the reality is Andre Feely's a very good fighter, a very well-rounded fighter. He's got good wrestling, good striking, good cardio. He's willing to slug it out. Andre Feely is a good fighter. He's got a ton of experience. His losses are to good fighters as well. And he's fighting Christian Rodriguez. Christian Rodriguez has only beaten untested prospects. He has not beaten a single veteran as of yet. And I fully get Christian Rodriguez showed us in his last fight. He's got some dog in him too. I think this is a very close fight, but I think Andre Feely is just this much better in all aspects of MMA. Will he put it together? Will he show up? That's a whole different question because sometimes Andre just gets wild for no reason. But I think Andre Feely is a solid dog given his experience and his level of competition. Miles Johns, I outright think Miles Johns wins this fight. I think Jean Matsumoto is a very good fighter, but I think Miles Johns is just hits a little harder, has better wrestling. Miles Johns certainly has more experience. And if Miles Johns puts it all together, sometimes he's only throwing right hands, sometimes he's only wrestling. We need him to do both. And if he puts that all together, I think he could absolutely beat a young prospect in Jean Matsumoto. I have a bet on Miles. I'll show you that in a second. And then Roman Dolidze in the main event. I fully understand Anthony Hernandez is a cardio demon. I fully get it. But the reality is Roman Dolidze is a better striker. Roman Dolidze is a better grappler. Roman Dolidze hits harder. Roman Dolidze is better in every individual aspect of fist fighting except just raw cardio. And even that, he definitely does not have better cardio than Anthony Hernandez. But the narrative that he has trash cardio is a 4-year-old narrative. That's a 4-year-old narrative. Outside of the Trevin Giles fight where he really started to slow down, Show me a fight where Roman Dolidze completely gassed. You'll see him breathing heavy. He's a fucking giant dude, and he's jacked. You'll see him breathing heavy, but he doesn't actually stop doing what he's supposed to do. The last two people who took down Roman Dolidze lost their legs. Lost their legs. Phil Hawes took him down with a beautiful duck under immediately in an insane knee bar, blows his knee out, then knocks him out on the feet. Jack Hermanson, high-level black belt, takes down Roman Dolidze immediately in a calf slicer, finishes him. So Roman Dolidze as a dog is a good dog. I have a bet on him. And let's take a look at my actual bets. I got a couple of variety here. We've mixed up some parlays with some prop bets, some round lines. We've mixed things up a little bit. And that's because I'm trying to find value. You can look at my odds here. So far, nothing too outrageous. No minus 200s, no minus 180s. I feel like I've done a good job mixing and matching to find good value on a card like this. We've got this 3-leg parlay. I've been doing these 3-leg parlays the last few events, and they've been hitting. Jocelyn Edwards, Uros Medic, and Elijah Smith. Elijah's the lock in there, but because he's so expensive, we needed to add a little bit to make it worth our while. I do think Jocelyn Edwards wins. Could she get just dogged? Of course. Priscilla Cachoeira is not soft. But I think Jocelyn Edwards wins. Uros Medic, the same thing. He hits hard, decent takedown defense, the far better striker. Gilbert Urbina is just kind of chaotically going to run forward and look to get it to the ground. So I think the three of them together, minus 118, seems like a decent bet to me. Roman Dolidze win inside the distance, decision, no action. That's essentially playing into the fact that Roman Dolidze is insanely dangerous and insanely tough. That's plus 170. His money line isn't much worse. If we go back, his money line is plus 240. So I get all the value of a plus 170 bet and not really any of the risk. So what this is saying is if Roman Dolidze finishes Anthony Hernandez, which he may, look what he did to Phil Hawes, look what he did to Jack Hermanson. If he finishes, then we go ahead and get paid at plus 170. If he loses a decision, we get a full refund. This bet never happened. The only way I lose this bet is if Roman gets finished, and I just do not see that. He is just too, even if he gets the shit kicked out of him, open to close. He's just too tough, too durable. So maybe get a refund, maybe get paid out at plus 170. Then I have a parlay with a couple of round lines, but I didn't do both lady fights because I do think we may end up with a finish in the Gabriella Fernandes fight. But we got Hilda over 2.5. And then Jans Matsumoto over 2.5. Miles Johns is incredibly tough. Sheen Matsumoto, also pretty tough. Not wildly dangerous on either side. So I think both of those fights do go to a decision, minus 139 there. Cody Brundage money line. All the reasons I mentioned. Cody Brundage is a good fighter. Is he inconsistent? Yes. But he's a high-level wrestler who competed in college. He's got fucking bombs in his hands. And we just saw the latest addition to the skill set of Cody Brundage is patience. We just saw it in his last fight. He took his time. He was fighting a very dangerous guy. And instead of coming out guns blazing and then gassing out, he came out patient. He won a round. He lost a round. It went to the third. There was an illegal headbutt. So the fight ended up being a draw because in that athletic commission, you can't score the third round. So you score the first two and it's 1-1. So it was a draw. But Cody Brundage showed that he can be patient. He showed that he's not just going to come out and he's a first round fighter. And with that patience, with the danger, with the fact that he's been competing at a high level, training at a real gym, and he's fighting essentially an older regional guy, I think Cody Brundage gets it done. I got him at minus 114. He's now minus 170. Even at minus 170, I think there's a little bit of value there. Then I have a parlay with Uros Medic money line. I am doubled up on Uros Medic. I don't like doing that. I can't have one fighter cost me 2 units, but the reality is on this card, to find the value, I kind of had to overexpose myself. If you look back at all of my bets, I don't end up in situations like that very often, but the reality is I'm stuck with it. I'm stuck with it. But I took the Uros Medic money line. I parlayed that with the Urseg Osborne 1.5 round line. I don't know why that's a 1.5. I'm surprised it's not 2.5. So yeah, I'll take the over on 1.5 all day, every day. Save myself 5 minutes. I'll do it. Then we got a couple of more bets on the website. I have a premium prop bet that is dead even money that I'm very, very confident in. And then I have another parlay, a premium parlay, an unnamed parlay, no name, minus 102 for that parlay. If you want to check out every pick, every bet, Everything on the website, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. This is just a small teaser. Here's a few more teasers. We got Bet Sam's Slam of the Week. Historically speaking, it does quite well. It did miss last week. And that's a bet where it's either a parlay, a money line, a prop, and he just doubles down on it. It is minus 200 this week, but he laid out 2 units to get a full unit return. We have a Steve Erceg by decision prop bet, plus 205. I absolutely love that prop bet. Julija Stoliarenko by submission. Only 0.2 units on that at plus 600, and that is a very likely outcome. Overall, on the website, we have 31 total units of premium bets. The expectation is not that you go out there and you lay out 31 units. That's an insane thing to do. The expectation is you take a look at the bets, you align yourself. Maybe you like my betting style. Maybe you like Jacob's. Maybe you like Bet Sam's. You take a look. You see what makes sense. If you, in your head, think that 99 out of 100 times Steve Erceg gets knocked out, why the fuck would you tail this bet? You don't. Take a look at what we've got, what we are doing. Make your own decisions. Add your own little sizzle and pizzazz. And go ahead and find your spots. Of those 31 units on the board right now, 7 of them are future bets for future events. We are not just built for this week. Every pick, every bet, every tool is available for multiple cards. We have bets for next week, UFC 319. If you want to unlock every pick, every bet, every tool, if you just want to support the boys, let's say you're just watching this video, you don't even bet, but you want to support the boys, become a premium member. It's only $10 for an entire month. You'll get full access to everything. We don't upsell. We don't cross-sell. It's one package, all of it. You get UFC Vegas 109, UFC 319, UFC Shanghai, and UFC Paris. Good luck this weekend, guys. This feels like the last sketchy card for a while. So if we get through this and I'm able to be up money again, then I think it's smooth sailing for the foreseeable future. I opened up this whole thing talking about the middleweight division and the landscape of that division. And if you look at these next 4 fight cards, it's actually pretty wild that the middleweight division is front and center. A few weeks ago, we had Robert Whittaker and Renier de Ridder potentially setting up the #1 contender. On this card, we have the Anthony Hernandez, Roman Dolidze fight, potentially setting up the #1 contender. Next week at UFC 319, we have the actual title on the line between DDP and Khamzat Chimaev. A few weeks from now, we have UFC Paris with Nasruddin Imavov taking on Kyle Barallo to potentially set up the #1 contender. This division historically was a pretty weak division, and now all of a sudden, some of the best fighters on the planet, some of the most exciting fighters on the planet are all right at the top of this division. I'm absolutely loving it. Anytime you get a weak division and then you insert some juice into it and some people rise to the top, it is a great thing. Now we just need this to happen for the heavyweight division because that is currently the weakest division on the planet. The fact that Tom Aspinall is fighting Cyril Gane for the title is insane. Middleweight division, front and center. I'm absolutely loving it. A lot of really good matchups on this graphic right here. Lots of fun fights coming up. We are by no means on the downside here. People love complaining about UFC, and I don't know why. These main events coming up are pretty spectacular. I'm looking forward to it. Let me know who you think ends up getting the next title shot after Khamzat Chimaev next week.